Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel. I bet you forgot all about this junk journal that I was going to create from this golden book. Well, so did I. I decided to add some of this really fun zebra duct tape to the inside of the spine just to give it a little bit more strength. Probably didn't need it, but I just thought, hey, this is really cool. I found it while I was cleaning out the craft room. So I just put it straight on there. I'm using a craft knife to trim it off, and I am going to do my best to explain how I put these signatures into the binding. So the first thing I did is I measured the inside of the binding area, which is about 2.5 inches wide, and I can't remember the height, but either way you're going to measure it to your book. I used my centering ruler and I found the center of the binding strip. I'm doing all of this onto a scrap piece of paper. I didn't want to draw it directly onto the actual spine because I just wasn't sure what I was doing. So I decided that so I have 4 signatures, so I wanted them to be sort of even inside the spine, so I just kind of eyeballed, to be honest with you. And then so this is about 8 inches tall, so then I drew lines or circles where there were going to be the holes right at 4 inches, and then the other 2 and 2. So then I was going to use my crocodile to punch the holes. It wasn't going to reach. I was gifted this Martha Stewart hole puncher. I don't even know what it's called. I don't even remember who gave it to me, but I think I got it with a whole bunch of random stuff, and I just kept it because I thought, well, whatever, I'll see it. Oh my God, this is like the coolest tool. You have to put a little bit of pressure when you punch the hole, but not a whole lot. It was really super easy. And then as I'm playing with it, I realized there's 3 total hole sizes. I just still stuck with the medium one because one, I had already punched the holes, but I was super excited about that. It was so easy. So I used that paper guide to punch the holes into the spine, and then I'm also going to use it to punch the holes in the different signatures. Now remember, I have 4 signatures, and each of the signatures have 10 pieces of paper. Now, while I say paper, that term is kind of loose because not everything in there is paper. There's bags, there's postcards, there's just a lot of different things. So that's pretty thick. Now what I should have done is I really should have used some clips or something to keep all of those papers together, because as I was punching holes, it did move a little bit, but not enough to where it really mattered. And believe me, this is for me, so I'm not too worried about it being perfect or exact. But of course I do want it as exact as possible because of course I've got to string it through. Now I had watched somewhere when you choose your binding string, you want to do it at least 3 times the height of the signature. So that's what I did there with a little bit of extra. And this is just twine that I was gifted from my sister. I get gifts all the time, people, and I'm sure if you're crafty, your friends tell you the same thing. Hey, I was going to do this thing. It's just sitting in my house. I'm not going to use it. Do you want it? I usually take things because I might not need it today, but I know I'm going to need it tomorrow. So what I did is I put the string into the middle hole. So through the back of the spine, through the back of the signature. And then I kept a tail of probably about 4 or 5 inches, but you'll see that in a minute. So once I figured out, this takes me a minute because the twine is too big for the biggest or the largest eye needle that I have, but it's also just not, I don't know, smooth. So it took me a little bit to do the sewing, but it was fine. And then I went into the bottom of the hole. You saw I only had 3 holes for each spine or for each signature. So then I pulled that in. And then once I do that, I make sure everything's kind of snug and tight. So I pull it here and there, make sure it's all, tight. And then I go all the way over to across to the very top hole. So you'll see me, I click there so I won't lose that tail. And now I go in that side. If you're watching me, you can see it. So I go through the signatures. Again, I'm kind of making sure all the holes are lined up. Should have used more clips. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was on a mission and I didn't feel like getting up to look for clips. And then again, put that into the spine. And then what I do, again, tugging it, making sure everything's tight. And then from the back, I go through the middle again. So again, it's going to take me a little bit of a minute because again, if I had a needle, it would have been so much easier. Now, I do try to put it into one of my larger eye needles, and I get a little bit of the string in there, not all of it, but a little bit, enough to where I can put it through. And it's so much easier with the needle. I need to figure out how to get that. So then I just, I kind of put that middle string or the twine that's already on there, and I tie 2 knots, again, making sure everything's tight, and then I trimmed it off. And now to the next one. So I do this 4 times because, again, I have 4 signatures. Now, once it's all done, there seems to be a lot of loose. It seems very loose. I don't know how to word that. But if you've seen my other junk journal, or if you're a junk journaler, you know these pages get pretty thick because, you're adding other pages, you're adding adhesive, you're adding mediums, you're adding all these things. So all those pages really do get thicker. So even though there is a lot of room, I don't anticipate that to be true after a while. But again, I just go down through the middle, go up to on either the top or the bottom. It doesn't really matter. And then, again, tugging, making sure things are, straight or tight and not loose. Then go all the way down to the top or bottom, whichever direction you're going. And then, going in through that way, and then going up through the middle to get that binding. Now, all of my papers have at least, most of them have the 3 holes, or the 3, I'm going to say holes, but where you get the binding. But most of them have at least 2. Let me rephrase that. They all have at least 2, because some of these are smaller. They're not the full size of the signature, because like I said, I have envelopes in here. I have postcards, this and that. You can tell I was just a little excited because I'm telling you, when I was getting through the holes, I was getting a little stressed and sweaty and rethinking my life. No, I'm kidding about that. But it was such a exciting moment when they went through pretty easily. But I'm really looking forward to playing around in this journal because I haven't done kind of junk journaling or this messy mixed media stuff in a while, because I was waiting for this journal to be done. So just really quick, I do have another video where I talk a little bit about why I decided to do this. You notice there I have a little bit of gap between the covers and the spine, but I'll use some E6000 to glue that together, so I'm not too worried about that. But look at how fun this is. But like I said, I searched for this book because it was a book that I received when I was in the hospital when I was a child. I broke my elbow and my arm in 3 places, and my grandma bought that for me because I was in kindergarten. And anyhow, I found one at an antique shop. I originally thought, I'm just going to put that on the shelf because it's a really good memory. But then I thought, that doesn't do me any good. So I took off the middle pages, and some of the pages are in this junk journal, but just in general, this is going to be a memory for me. So I just love it. I hope you do too. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll definitely answer. And thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe and like, because I do plan on doing a lot more pages in my junk journal, which is kind of like an art journal in my sense. Thank you so much again for watching. Bye.